not good teacher material, but we may have no others to turn to. Just so, some of these are quite dark, twisted individuals. The kind of creatures that grew bored pulling their legs from spiders and so moved on to people. However, it is the path we walk, no matter what the cost. No matter what is asked of you.
The Meister doubles over in a violent coughing fit, struggling for breath. After a few moments, she regains her composure, wiping a thin smear of blood from the corner of her mouth.
No matter what is asked of you, you must learn from them. The Magisters have kept ledgers with all known sorcerers, especially the powerful ones not yet captured. They would be an invaluable resource. But do be careful not to get caught. I was their guest for a time, and I promise you the gallows was the most comfortable part of the experience. And if their barracks turns out to be as empty as their skulls, just keep your eye sockets peeled. There may still be powerful sorcerers hiding in these lands.
As she speaks, one of her wounds reopens, a dark red stain spreading across her tunic. She hisses in frustration and starts to bind the gash.
I wish there was more I could do, but in this condition, I would be more a hindrance than a boon. Godspeed, and remember, do whatever it takes.
The squirrel seems to be flicking through various scraps of paper, humming and hawing as he goes. After some time, he throws the scraps to the wind and spurs on his cat. The spirit of an elegant elven woman materializes before you. She seems surprised.
You can see me. A god woken in my presence. You honor me. I am the Meister's apprentice. I study under her, but I do not learn. I hear tales of the ritual, of what lies beyond. Such wonders, such powers. I decide to pursue them myself. Meister tells me it cannot happen, that I am not God-woken. But in my heart, I know I'm special. I try. I burn the root. I breathe the smoke and it burns me back. No air fills my lungs, only fire. When the darkness falls, I cannot cry out. I leave my life behind with a shameful whimper.
The spirit looks at you regretfully.
It is hard to hear of such power and not covet it for yourself. I lie to myself and convince myself that I am special. But I am not special. I am dead.
The Meister's back! She doesn't feel like playing, but...
Doubled over in agony, the shivering Magister spirit mumbles to himself, tightly clutching 3 golden stalks in one fist. Noting the attention, he straightens, revealing insignia spelling Kinnet, and a jagged wound spilling his innards upon the ground. He reaches... You become Kinnet, his memories flooding over you and replacing your own. Warmth, comfort. You are Kinnet, playing cards with your mates in a cozy barracks. You stagger to tipsy attention as a white-clad Magister commands that one of your troop seek a lost caravan. It's a one-man job, a job no man wants. Your sly-eyed troop leader holds out straws to you and the others. Who will investigate? You feel the short straw and hear them shout, "Kinnet!" You know what that means. A lonely traipse in the cold dark. You dawdle and grumble all the way, sobering as you find the overturned caravan. Massacre. Your lantern reveals ravaged corpses in every direction. Inhaling sharply, you smell a thick black stench you remember secondhand from the few void-woken corpses your troops have found. As you approach a dark thicket, the stench grows stronger. In a flash of void and blood, a claw rakes savage stripes across your guts. As Kinnet dies, all goes black. Staggering back from Kinnet's deathly grasp, only your own blood now pumps through your heart. With your living eyes, you see him trembling in front of you, desperately holding out 3 straws. As you pluck the short straw from his hands, Kinnet weeps with relief. His wound disappears in turn, and he's restored to the model image of a strapping young soldier. He looks around, then looks at you, and then he smiles. Smiling broadly, Kinnet fades away.
You dare strike?
The spirits of a Magister and a dwarf are locked in ethereal combat. Their vicious blows make no impact, yet they struggle on. Mid-snarl, the dwarf spies your presence and staggers back to address you.
Sorcerer! You must hate the Reds as much as I do, eh? Rightly so. Reds had sorcerers locked up tight in that caravan, and you know where they were sending them. You look like you've been there yourself.
The Magister lunges for the dwarf, his exasperation clear.
Anna, you saw it with your own eyes. You know Sorcerer's Law, Voidwoken, and you know we'd all still be alive if you hadn't attacked our caravan. Before it all, Voidwoken stole the sorcerers along the cliffs, headed for Seven knows where.
Not to flip your flops or nothing, but 'tis more that my boss Lohar is against Magisters than for sorcerers, if you know what I mean.
The Magister snorts in disdain.
Loha, I should have known. Sorcerer, if you want to stay alive around these parts, you'll stay far, far away from that walking vermin. Though, on the other hand, maybe you should go stand near him. Maybe the Voidwoken could take him out where we failed. Ha!
History will remember you Reds with more venom than eating a black...
Up ahead, Paladins, the famous divine protectors of arcs.
Who goes there? Ha! If you're looking for adventure, east's the way to go. It's a void-woken hellhole over there. Sorcerer at work. Powerful one. Of course, you could wait for the Magisters to sort them out. You'll be waiting. I dare say you have, adventurer. But I suspect you've seen nothing like what lies beyond, except maybe in your nightmares. Every time the Voidwoken come, they're bigger and there's more of them. Still, you want to go east, you go east. We won't stop you.
By Lucian's sword, we meet again. Would that circumstances were better here than in Fort Joy. But they're not. Voidwoken lie in wait beyond the bridge.
I shall not mourn till war
A senior
is
paladin sits hunched over a tattered map. He registers your presence, sits back in his chair, taps his fingers on the map.
Who are you, and who sent you?
He appraises you with a look, then grimly grins.
I think I've heard about you. Didn't you free the Meister from the gallows in Driftwood? Then I may well have a job for you, if you're interested.
He taps a finger on the map on the table.
Here, in the Black Pits, are White Magisters. Their operation is shrouded in mystery, and this pricks our ears. We are gravely concerned. We believe the White Magisters may have strayed into the darkness. We suspect that Dallas herself and her master Vriedemann are the inspiration for these dark endeavors. Look under the white veil of secrecy and report back. How much do you want? I have fewer paladins to pay, so I have ready gold. But there are limits. You think very highly of yourself indeed.
He opens a pouch and shows you the contents. It's certainly an unreasonable sum, but it's not as outrageous as you might like.
Take it or leave it. Excellent.
He offers you an item. A whistle-like device sits nestled in your hand.
When you're ready, send a war owl. Be careful out there. It's a dangerous place these days. And I'd like to think I'll hear from you again. And
He looks you in the eye.
don't get caught.
I shall not mourn till war is done. I shall not weep while blood still runs. I'll hold my tears when weeping comes. Who shall avenge you, darling one?
Careful now. That's a trap.
Jonathan, how long has it been?
Gareth looks to the limp body at his feet, then to you, sword raised. He isn't quite present, but lost in his own tangled thoughts.
I knew I'd see him again. I wish it hadn't been like this. No! I mean, no. I should do this myself. This man, this Magister, his name is Jonathan. He's my friend, or was my friend. I led him here. I felt someone's gaze on me from almost the very moment I stepped foot on the coast. Lucian taught never to ignore augury. And sure enough, I saw the flash of white. I heard the sprigs snapping. Someone was watching, following. I came here and waited. The door swung open and it was him. A face I hadn't seen since I was called to the Seekers. He didn't say a word, just flashed the arrest warrant. Seems he didn't expect the punch. Now I must do as duty requires.
Gareth raises his blade and tightens his grip, but falters. He cannot strike the final blow. Gareth's fingers open and close around his sword's hilt. His breathing quickens, his forehead wrinkles, yet his arm remains suspended in air. Blood seeps from Jonathan's wound and pools at Gareth's feet. He stares at the stream as it carves a path around his boots.
What? What have you done?
Gareth's eyes go glassy. There is no warmth, no chill, no joy, no sadness. It is as if the void has possessed him.
I need to go. Away from here. Away from this. Away from you. Yes, you're right. There's little time for tears. When it is time to sail, I will be ready.
A lake of death fog, and the bridge appears to be down. A hidden must be a way across. Look out! I see a trap nearby. Made it. What lies ahead looks even less welcoming.
Greetings and salutations. Have no fear, we mean you no harm. No harm, no harm, no harm, no harm, no harm.
The being sniffs the air in your direction and licks his lips. He moves a couple of paces towards you, his eyes hungry and entranced. He abruptly slaps himself in the face and halts his advance.
My manners. Master would not be pleased. He awaits you west of here. He will not harm you. Others may.
Okay, let's see what this
How can I tell if he's to be
master wants.
trusted?
You don't need me to tell you that.
True. I'm in deep, deep.
You want to buy something or not?
No, thanks.
The lizard's eyes are dark as polished coal, void of all light. A faint frost seems to cover the cracked and broken scales around his mouth.
You have a reputation for both malfeasance and chaos. Imagine my surprise when it took you so long to find your way here. I see the miasma surrounding our islet certainly did not hinder you. Well, here you stand, in the flesh, so to speak. And a finer collection of corpusculae I never have seen. I trust you are not opposed to a mutually beneficial accord between civil and gentle persons. Likewise, I am sure. But I am not here to bandy niceties. Our situation is somewhat less than ideal. I am here at the behest of my master to offer you a simple exchange. An offer of aid for the promise of aid. The epitome of civil reciprocity. You and he possess a common foe. The power behind the Voidwoken has made our lives hell, so to speak, since the Divine Order unleashed death fog against the Black Ring and those darling woodland creatures. And as the gods have shirked their duty, perhaps we could come to a mutually beneficial arrangement pertaining to both of our objectives. Indeed, I can offer you the source channel that you seek forthwith, as a gesture of good faith. Excellent. My master has found your kind to be an eternally pragmatic group. The issue at hand is a simple one. We have suffered a Black Ring incursion into our sacred groves. They surround a tree that sits at the heart of this fair isle. Once the Black Ring have been eliminated, I have been authorized to send you on your way with that which you pursue, the location of the Council of Seven. But first, we must see that you are fit. First, we must infuse your poor bones with power.
The lizard's hand lashes out, the palm landing flat on your forehead. You feel a cold pain start to spread across your skull, but deep within you, something stirs.
There is neither enigmatic lore nor magical jewel required to open the channels of Source. It is enough to seize it with sufficient force of will, to know that all creatures are nothing but Source and vain hope.
You feel the pull of a far-off connection. You feel the dungeon, the red organic tendrils binding you. Your ears are filled with screams, and you're surprised to find they are your own. Cold pain shoots through your bones, sharp and quick, but cleansing. You can feel your body opening up, filling with the promise of power as your ability to channel Source swells. The far-off connection fades, as do the screams. You feel empty, hungry, powerful.
Somewhat more roused, are you, Godwoken? It is such delicious vivication. Now, tell me, is there anything further in which you yearn to be enlightened?
I've never felt such power.
You feel newfound powers of the Source course wildly through your body. Deep inside your soul, your god calls for you. It would be wise to meet with your god again by performing the Meister's ritual, here or in Siva's vault.
You are here to work. Are you also here to trade? I have much to show. Look, do not touch. Not until you fatten my purse. See you again. Perhaps.
Maybe the river could be crossed on that.
The Master? The Shadow? The Crawler?
And
In the darkness of the woods, you spot a man overlooking a cage that holds creatures crept from a nightmare. Despite the all too unsettling nearness of these horrors, he looks poised, regal even, and wholly at ease.
Go on. Step in from the shadows. Let's have a look at the wanderer lost in the woods. There is much weakness in the revelation. What upper hand you had, you've lost.
He eyes you with a sudden intensity, makes you feel like a weight upon a scale, balanced against an unknown measure.
I stand corrected. It is in the revelation that you show your upper hand.
He sighs, contentedly it seems, darts his eyes to the demons, then back to you.
The roads are rather dusty today, aren't they, Godwoken? May I offer you anything to drink? No. Of course, one like you is never thirsty for wine, nor for water, but for source?
He pours a glass of wine from a bottle in his greatcoat and drinks it down in one voracious gulp.
To your very good health, I'm sure. Now then, please allow me to introduce myself. I am Jehan. Above all, I am a demon hunter. Underneath it all, I am what those with a flair for hyperbole call a master of the source. Of course you are. That is what Godwoken do. The answer to your next question, by the by, is yes. I will teach you if you do something for me first. Quid pro quo, I'm afraid. A tad vulgar of me, that much I admit, but needs must when the demon drives. It will come as no surprise, I suppose, that it is a demon that drives me to seek your benevolence. I've been hunting him for a long time, and now I've managed to track him down to the island over yonder.
He points towards the northeast. You see nothing in that direction but grey water and a thick mist in which ghoulish shapes seem to form and fade.
I know it's there. My caged guests have confirmed as much. But to my great frustration, I cannot reach my goal. Death fog surrounds the island, and through death fog even I cannot pass. That is where you come in. Indeed, you can pass through the fog unscathed. As for the creature you will find on the other side, consider it a test. Kill the demon, and I will be your teacher. Then let me shake your hand and describe your target. The demon's guise, or vessel, one can't be quite certain, is that of a lizard known only as the Advocate. Like all of his ilk, he is kind, he is charming. He will offer you what you desire most at seemingly no cost at all. There is no such thing as no cost at all. My advice is to strike before he even has a chance to speak. But should you choose to disregard me, should you allow him to parley, all you have to do is say no. Above all else, remember that. May you wander in wisdom.
A haughty-looking undead woman, unmasked, surveys the ground around her, seeking something. Suddenly, her head swivels, and she trains an imperious gaze upon you.
What side do you take?
Her voice is clipped and detached, with metallic overtones. It even seems to echo, as if she's speaking to you from very far away. She cocks her skull to one side with a nightmarish creak. Though her shiny visage is completely devoid of emotion, you sense confusion in her manner. Confusion and more than a little scorn.
Quick now, quickly. Do you support Divine Order or Black Ring? So long as you do not pledge allegiance to the Ring, we can talk. Perhaps even trade. I have books, though I hate to part with them. And you, hopefully, you have something I want. That would be prudent if I wanted to stay alive. Or whatever it is that I am now. Survival is not something that interests me any longer. Not in this form.
Suddenly, she leans towards you with an unnerving creak.
Enough about that. I'm traveling as I look for a particular book. A tome to teach me how to make corpses explode. Would you have anything like that I could learn from? Have a look. Mind you don't tear any pages now. You know what I'm looking for. Come back to me if you find it. Not long to go now, I'm sure of it.
Buying or selling? Capital. Good luck to you.
I'm all right, as long as I don't think about it too much. You're safe among friends. Never forget it.
Hear ye! Hear ye! Bishop Alexander was slain by Satyrs! Culprits still at large!
fine.
As the smoke swirls, as the world... As you approach, Amadia greets you with outstretched arms, though her face is marred by a pained grimace.
My child, my sweet Fane, you positively brim with sauce. It is good to see you more like your old self. Oh, my sweet, it is naught but a chill. Your soul has a draft, it seems. Perhaps you should...
A sudden shudder jolts through her body so violently that she drops to her knees, stunned into silence. She whispers, there really is no need for your assistance, but from the weight of her arms around you, you can tell she'd have trouble getting back up by herself. An eternal curse escapes from her lips, spoken so forcefully that for a brief moment all light recedes into the webs of darkness.
I have told you before, the void is stronger than ever. But so are you, my child. I can sense the expanse of source inside you. There is only one more thing you must remember now. The spell you will need when we reach the Well of Ascension. You see. You see with our eyes. You can behold the source once more. But now you must regain the teeth to take it.
Amadia smiles, and you notice for the first time 2 vampiric fangs glistening beneath her upper lip. A gulf of magic envelops you, and you feel an insatiable hunger for source.
Go on. I am here for you. Give in to your hunger. Yes. Relish in your lust for power, just as a god should. Go on, my sweet. Devour me.
Though your spell tore through her like a spear through flesh, Amadia looks grimly happy, if haggard.
You speak the spell with a ferocity I have not heard in centuries, as I knew you would, dear Fane. Do you still not see? You are more than what you once were, more than what our people ever were. Let me tell you the one truth about our existence. We are the lions in a world of lambs. It is about power, and power is not given. It is taken, with all-seeing eyes and all-consuming teeth. You can see the souls of these dead mortals, and now you can feed from them to your hungry heart's content. So feed, my sweet, for you will starve until you finally feast upon the Well of Ascension. No, your soul must grow larger still, your inner self become a vaster expanse, so that it may house your divine power. There are more masters of the Source, more aspects of the Source to learn. The hunt continues, my child.
You seem different. Tell me, what have you learned? Or has the smoke simply addled your mind beyond repair? Vampirism? As if killing a creature weren't enough, you should utterly destroy its soul too. A dark skill, but certainly useful.
The Meister slumps back in her chair, closing her eyes. Her breathing is shallow and ragged.
Very well then. But as you lack the glowing eyes of the divine, or the purpose of one soon to be divine, I trust you need more source. Thankfully, the Magisters have made our lives very simple. They carefully catalogued every sorcerer in this area, keeping careful records in their barracks. The gentle and weak were captured, collared, and shipped to Fort Joy. The powerful masters were deemed too dangerous or insane to confront, which means they may still be open to a teaching position. Do not look at me like that. I said it was simple, not easy. Now get to the Magister's barracks and find that list. You no longer have the luxury of time.
Yes, of course.
Surrounded by incompetence. Is there a better post?
I'm watching you, stranger. That's Magister business. Keep your nose out of it. Of course, sir. Right away.
The Magister turns to you with a scowl. He already seemed immensely displeased, and your interjection isn't improving his mood.
What? Who asked you? You're not even supposed to be down here. Keep out of it. Prepare yourself.
Hell with her. I need those reports.
Right away.
A prim woman in a starched apron wipes a glass with a clean rag. She pins you with blue, steel-sharp eyes as you approach the bar.
Blessings upon our Lucian, 7 times divine.
The soft lines of her face fold into a warm smile. She sets the glass on the counter and pours you a generous portion of an amber liquor.
I see your mother raised you very well indeed. Rare for an elf, but all the more impressive. You and my Naiads might even get along. What brings you to Driftwood, darling?
Yes, that's my boy. Did you know him? Finest physician in all of Reaper's Coast. Top of his class. But it's been too long since I've seen him. A fine physician indeed. That's my boy. Some say all a growing child needs is food and sunshine. I say abstinence and chastity will grow him finer than either one of those. Oh, but it's so good to meet a friend of Niall's. Here, have a little something to eat. Niall's favourite, you know. No one in our little town can appreciate work so fine as his, you know. All his instruments and books are stored away upstairs, all but forgotten. It's such a terrible waste. Well, I'd love to show you, but I'm afraid I can't leave the bar unattended. This crowd isn't to be trusted, believe ye me. But I suppose, well, there's no harm, is there? You seem to be a good sort. One of Lucian's own, isn't that right? Here, take this key and head on up the stairs. You'll find Niall's room there. He'd want to know his fine things weren't languishing unappreciated in his old room.
The elf beckons you into the back room, a hungry, playful look in her eyes. She comes in close, her breath warm on your face, and thrusts a kitchen knife right into your heart. The cook acknowledges you with a small bow, an oddly formal gesture given the surroundings.
Please, sir, you should not be back here. It's not safe. Ah, the stew. It's much in demand. You should speak to Loverick if you want some.
I've spotted something. This ring, it bears the Magister's seal, and there's blood on it.
Please, I must insist you keep out of my kitchens. It's not safe for you to wander about like this.
She grabs the ring and glares at you, like a rattlesnake observing its next live meal.
You should have just kept out of this. Pay for what I've done? I should be thanked. Magisters are a blight. They deserve worse than the death I gave them. I wouldn't taint the earth with their carcasses. Better that they vanish into unsuspecting stomachs.
The cook shakes her head ruefully.
You should have just forgotten about all of this.
What would I do without you,
Glory is mine!
Cooking notes. Wait, there's something wrong with this.
If they got nothing to hide, they got nothing to be scared of.
Yes, you're good with the Magister's.
You can figure this out. Come on.
An elf in tattered red robes shifts through pages of handwritten notes spread across the table.
So many suspects. So many potential culprits. I need to narrow down the list. Think, you damn elf, think.
A floorboard creaks beneath your foot. The elf leaps around abruptly.
What? Why do you sneak up on me? Don't you know how dangerous that is, the way things are? Haven't you heard? My own Magister comrades are vanishing from right here in Driftwood. Whoever's behind it must be stopped. If you hear anything, come to me. The cook? The elven cook? You're saying she's involved in this? She's been found dead, I heard. I thought she was another victim, maybe, but this changes everything. Do my comrades know? Did you tell them what you discovered? Well, in that case, I might just...
Prepare yourself. I'm ready.
Elsa, my inkwell is
Course.
dry. Fetch me some
Right
more.
away.
I suppose you've heard of the disappearances around here, have you? Well, the case has been solved, thanks to a Magister, or rather an ex-Magister.
The Magister takes the ring from you.
This was a conduct award. I gave it to Magister Harrick myself. She showed great promise.
He stoically nods his thanks and turns away from you. Behind the containers, the fish in one of the barrels shifts slightly.
Please, you have to help me. The Magisters have gone mad. I'm a salesman. I tinker. I fix things. I wonder. I buy and sell books when I can. I had nothing to do with those Magisters vanishing. Please help me. I don't want to die. I don't want them to take me. But you wouldn't. Please. No. If the Magisters find me, we'll all regret it. I have enough niter and brimstone to turn this factory into a crater. Please. I don't want to die. But if the Magisters find me, I won't let them take me. I won't. Okay. But please be quick. They'll find me sooner or later. It's just a matter of time.
You, tell me, have you seen a man acting suspiciously near here? Grey cloak, grey beard, satchel slung over his shoulder. You did? Where? He does? Damn it. We can't risk him sending it off here. Half of Driftwood would go up in flames. He must trust you if you've met him and survived. Can you lure him out of the town and see that justice is done?
And? What news?
sea here.
Are we safe?
Powerful too.
At last, I can breathe again.
Oh, freedom! I thought I was dead for sure, but the kindness of others saved me. You have my thanks. If not for you, I probably would have been found, gutted, and salted. I've been asking myself the same thing. I was just enjoying some stew in the tavern, reading over my latest acquisitions, and then I was surrounded by magisters.
He hands you a damp scroll. In between the fish guts, it seems to give details of how to cast a powerful source spell.
Here, take it. That's the scroll that caused all this. I barely got out there with my life. In the kitchens of the tavern, of all places. That cook had it. Offered it for a great price, too. I thought she was an idiot selling it so cheap. Then again, I'm the dolt who ended up in a barrel. But if she has Magister artifacts, she must be the one they're looking for. I swear, once I get to Arx, I'm going to have the bath of my life.
Speaker's name gives me the willies.
I'm ready!
Don't take me. I'll see you in the Hall of Echoes.
I'll yield to none.
Bless them anyway.
Yeah? You're good with the Magisters caging anyone up that looks at them funny.
Damn right.
Weep, my friends, for Alexander the Innocent. Killed by sorcerers.
Ah, finally. Your colleague over there is absolutely useless. I'll have a bowl of the house stew, if you please. Oh, pity. I've been trying to get a little something to eat all day. But the giggleheads who run this establishment don't seem to be willing to provide a fellow with his fair portion. After all I've been through, too.
He lowers his gaze, then looks up at you expectantly. His lip trembles dramatically.
It's my mentor. My dear mentor. He was killed by those void beasts. I told him we ought not to travel in the hills, but would he listen? No. Now here I sit, my closest companion gone, our precious cargo worth more than Lucian's right ring, lost to the beast-infested wilds. And the waiter won't even bring me any stew. Ah, then perhaps my luck has changed. Yes, perhaps this awful business might soon be behind me. Tell me, how are you in, well, Voidwoken? Ah, terrific news. Then what I ask will be little more than a trifling. My mentor, Liam, and I were hauling in a goodly number of fine wares from the Southlands when we crossed paths with a great brute of a Voidwoken. It made short work of Liam, may the gods rest his soul. I managed to escape, but my precious cargo was left behind. We'd invested our entire livelihood in those wares. I'd do anything to get them back. My lucky stars. He must have been sent from on high. And don't worry, I'll make it very worth your while. This I promise, on my honor. Now, give me your map. I'll show you just where to look. I doubt those beasts out there have any use of such a cargo. I can't tell you how thoroughly you've made my day. Good luck.
Curiosity kills
This town
the
is
cat.
poor.
A weathered woman in a dirty sea captain's tunic babbles breathlessly to herself, and somewhere nearby you hear a bell ringing.
The bell rings a warning and the tide is on the turn, and I without my compass. The ship is in the locker, on the bottom in the rocky shallows, and all are drowned but me. And yet, can you hear? The bell rings on. The bell haunts me yet, and it would drive me mad. I'm haunted by my crew. They ring the bell to drive me mad. Please, make it stop.
She buries her head in her hands and cries.
Make it
Stop! Kills the cat, or gets it sent to Fort Joy.
A ghostly seaman stares at the captain, his lip curled in a malevolent grin, his eyes wide with hate, and all the time he rings.
And you can't be too careful, you know? If I can get it sound.
You're right about that. Right as rain.
The bell still rings. Do you hear it? Do you hear it? Who rings the bell?
The ghostly seaman rings his bell, his hate directed at his captain. He turns to you.
Spoke to the lady captain, didn't you? I seen you cozying up. Are you hers, you bag of bones? Or sail you with us?
The ghost's eyes widen in horror. He screams. The word "no" fades away with the echoes of the bell, and the spirit of Seaman Stubbs is no more.
You've got a pick.
Hard port. Can't you hear the bell?
You got that right, Hilka. You got that right.
And I'm saying...
She babbles breathlessly on, barely aware you're there, and nearby sounds a ringing bell.
My ears are still a-ringing. And I have you to thank for it? Then thank you, I surely do. That accursed bell lies with the Peacemaker, on the bottom in the rocky shallows. My compass lies there too.
She goes white as the proverbial ghost.
You've got no call to go looking for no cargo. Far as anyone's concerned, we sailed with an empty hold, and if there's anything left to salvage, you leave it where it is. Heed me. Leave the cargo of the Peacemaker alone.
She turns away. Conversation over.
This room is temperate enough, is it not? Quite so, my lord, quite so. But the atmosphere in here...
I am Baron Levere. I am Baron Levere, not he. Not he. I am Baron Levere. An impostor is he. That man over there, a lone wolf in my own sheep's clothing. Bejeweled is he with a false name. Draped is his back with a false mantle. Bedecked are his cheeks with a false beard. Murderer, thief, impostor. I am Baron Levere. A rival's revenge? Another merchant's madness? Oh, the fever of gold is reason's bane. But it matters no longer what drove them to daggers. It matters who drove them into my flesh. You who hears the laments of the dead, avenge me. Kill the false baron. Give me back my name. Please. Avenge... Here now. When one's in a small town, one must expect small town manners, I see. Have you a reason for barging into my room, sir? Ah, so it's dear Prudence who's responsible for our confusion. Odd, she's usually as strict as a taxman. Still, no harm done, I suppose. I may as well introduce myself. Baron Levere, at your service. Travels, you say? And why would you assume I'm a traveling man?
He laughs heartily.
Of all things, I wouldn't have thought my boots would give me away, but you're quite right, of course. I am traveling, yes, to Arx. Lucian's Day will be upon us soon, a celebration no man with a heart that is both as pious and mercantile as mine should miss.
You've got to pick who you can trust.
You got that right, Hilga. You got that right.
Absolutely not. The coffers, man. The coffers, they're to be guarded day and night.
Yes, of course. Of course. Hold it. Papa no, you no go. Didn't hear me the first time, eh? That'll be a hard no, dear. You can't buy my friendship. But you can buy 10 seconds of me eyeballs examining the ground for, well, let's say, a small fortune. You look like you'd be good for it.
He pockets the coin and gazes dramatically at the ground mere inches from your feet.
I've spotted something.
Look at that. A fresh face and a pretty little
Hail, darling. Call me Dorothea.
She draws you in, her lips dangerously close to where your ears once were.
Oh, yes. I have something that you want. But I only bargain with those I deem deserving. Those who have accomplished great things. So, tell me, are you worthy of my gift? If you swam your way here, I might consider that a notable triumph. But honey, I know you didn't swim. You'll have to give me something more impressive than that. Surely you've accomplished something of note. Indeed? This is acceptable. You are nearer the one than most self-described heroes I've known. So, tell me, are you ready for me to grant you your greatest desire? I can't. Not yet. First, you must look into my ring and tell me what you see there. Gaze into the gem, my lovely.
She flashes her ring at you, and you stare at the luminescent stone at its center. You are floating on a current of pure source, surrounded by a kaleidoscope of colors and fuzzy images. On the horizon looms a dark silhouette. As you approach, a beam of light washes the shadow away, revealing to you...
Yes. I see you clearly now. It is knowledge you crave. You want scholars to bow in your presence, begging for truth in an age of lies. I will fulfill this desire. In return, I ask for one thing in return. A kiss. Most delicious. Meet me around the corner, and come alone. An audience is not required.
Dorothea sees you and heaves a shuddering sigh. She bites into her lower lip with enough force that a drop of blood seeps out. Blood and something else. Something green.
Darling, I admit I wish we could share more carnal pleasures. Yet I think a kiss is the height of intimacy. But I'm afraid I can't bear to press my lips against such a bony caricature of a face. Get yourself masked up, and the carnality can continue. Most excellent. This is a visage I can get on board with. Let me feel your lips on mine.
You draw closer and close your eyes, eager to feel her lips on yours. Yet her lips do not press against yours, and her hands do not caress your face. She is a woman no longer, but a were-spider. Her fang painlessly sinks into your neck. You still hear her words, though they sound muffled, as if filtered through a glass wall.
The knowledge you needed is now yours. My venom penetrates your mind and lifts your senses. We part ways now. I'll remember this moment.
What do you want? Boss is busy. Good. Boss could use some good news. Listen up. Don't waste his time. These are explosive times. Be respectful. I brought you up from girl to woman, Marla. Like you was my own. This...
He lifts his right arm, showing a white bandage beneath his ribs. A wet red spot shows through.
This ain't the thanks I expected. Who sent you?
The formidable dwarf slams his fist on the side table. You hear a loud crack.
Enough! Do you know they killed Anhar? Do ya? Start talking sense or I'll take that tongue right out of your mouth and fry it for supper. Bart, Cade, get her to talk or bleed her out. She ain't one of mine anymore.
His sneer travels from the restrained dwarf to you.
And you. You better have a damn good reason for coming here. Brave lad, all sitting here now. I hope for your sake you've got good news for me. If you don't already know the answer to that, I reckon you don't have much to tell me.
He winces loudly and holds a hand to the bandage on his side. The large red spot in its center has grown larger and wetter.
Family dispute. Lucky for me, she caught an old wound. Scar slowed down the knife. So, how'd you make it out of Fort Joy? I've got to say I'm impressed. I love a good story. Here's one I heard lately. A group of strangers landed on the beaches outside town. Meister Seaver's people. You one of her little seekers? Chasing down Godwoken and begging them to save us all? That's so.
He leans back and narrows his eyes, looking you up and down.
You know, the order's been going on about Godwoken for an eon now. Voidwoken's still lurking, though. They're still hauling folks off to the Joy. So if you are who you say you are, what's the point of you? Ah, I should have guessed. And it just so happens I can help you. Depending on what you can do for me.
He gestures towards the bandage across his side.
Had a bit of family trouble lately. My girl Marla got it in her head to come after me with a short blade. That ain't like Marla. Ain't like her to pull the silent treatment either. Something's going on. And wouldn't you know it, that blade she used wasn't any normal bit of steel. Belonged to another of my people. Guy's name is Mordus. Bit of a loner, but smart as hell. I sent a few guys to go check on him, see if he knew what had got into Marla, but no one can find him. I'd like a word with the guy. Glad you see it that way. No one's seen him in a good few. I've got some people checking out his house near the tavern now, though. Tell them I sent you, and they'll let you know what they've found. Truth is, they might be glad to see you. Reckon a sorcerer will have better luck finding one of their own. I'm listening. That's right. Lost one of my best lads, Anhar. Didn't get Jalia's body back, though. Maybe one of them beasts took her like they did the sorcerers. Bloody lad. Flapping his gums in the next life, too. That's another little venture of ours. Don't concern you, though. Good. One more thing. Like I said, Mordus is a sorcerer. Maybe even one of the ones Seaver's after. If there's something you want to find out from him, you might want to ask before I have my word with him. Here, you can take this off my hands. More suited to your kind, really. Good luck.
How you holding up?
Buying or selling? Capits, good luck to you.
Queen Justinia executes 24 noblemen for
Subordination!
Keeping it together, Bree. I'm all right, as long as I don't think about it too much.
You're safe among friends. Never forget.
Hear ye! Divine order to march against the ancient empire!
Don't let up now. Keep hauling that cargo. That's it. The barrels and the chests. On the double. Go on, you mute sacks of flesh. Put your backs into it. I'll not lose another day to the tide. The Lord Dread awaits. Its sails billow with Dallas's breath.
The Magister stops, barking orders. He sniffs the air like a predator, turns to face you, the wolf eyeing the deer.
Oh, but yours is not a stink like the one that surrounds us, spat from a dying sea. Yours is a scent that invites a question. Tell me, have you ever been strung up by the hands? Your body swinging like a bell's clapper as your bones are being broken with cast iron rods? Ah, you've met with what's left of Siva, have you? I'm so very glad you're familiar with my work.
He licks his lips. Dry flesh turns wet.
See, I'd like to string you up too. Rack you with rods and leave you dangling over a puddle of your own blood and piss.
His sliver of a smile could rival a rattler's.
I'm very good at what I do, see? I don't even need a sauce hound yapping at my side. There was a whiff of something in the air when you approached. A current of filth, that is to say, sauce. Best convince me I was mistaken.
He leans in closer and sniffs the air once more.
Interesting. So I was mistaken. Must have been ambition I smelt on you, not the magic that dare not speak its name. Very well. In that case, we'll forego the gallows and turn straight to the hunt. A would-be magister has to prove his killer instinct, after all. Seems peaceful here, doesn't it? A quiet day in a quiet town. One wouldn't think these drifting woods toss on dwarf-troubled waters. But they do. Consider for a moment the dwarf. What is he? A mule? A beast of burden? But some defy that role. There are rats among them, dancing to their rat queen's tune. I've need of a rat catcher. Of course. I must depart post-haste, but Julian here will stay behind and be a good little parrot. Ask and he will answer.
Stay behind? But I've my orders. Same as you. Dallas.
Like I said, Julian is staying. And with that, I must be off. No hard feelings about the death threats, of course. How about we part shaking hands instead of stringing them up?
There's a moment of fleeting suspicion as his glove closes round the bones of your hand, but only a moment. He grins darkly.
How very heartwarming. One last thing. The Magisters here are diligent men and women. A stranger like you may run into troubles with them. Should this happen, just wave this piece of parchment in their eager little faces. My signature will placate them without fail, I assure you. Adieu and good luck. The Lord Dread awaits. The use of the gallows, I pass on to you. The time has come, my stitched-lip lovelies. We set sail. Get on board and man your stations.
Left behind like a dog. Bah. 7 curses upon that ship.
The Magister is rubbing the dirt off his robes, none the worse for wear, apparently, from the blast of magic that knocked him off his feet.
You, the damn recruit. I'd be whining and dining aboard the Lord Dread if it weren't for you. Your meddling in Magister affairs had better be worth it.
Yes, I am very much aware. Wasn't my damned head that hit the floor back there. Now answer me. Did you meet with the Magister caravan on your way into town? The hour's growing late and I'm beginning to worry something might have gone wrong. By the Bishop's bones, you saw it? Out with it, man. What happened? Dwarves. The pox on those bearded devils. Raymond, that old goat, always suspected there's more to the Driftwood dwarves than meets the eye. Hate to admit it, but I think he may be right. Too many things have gone wrong along Reaper's Coast to attribute to bad luck. Magister ships sinking, weapons disappearing, and as you've seen, a caravan attacked and destroyed. Rumour has it the Dwarvian Queen herself is behind these acts of sabotage. That is what I want you to prove. There's a local thug, Lohar. He runs an operation out of his hideout beneath the Black Bull Tavern. I suspect this man of being a spy for his queen.
It may be interesting to have a word with him. Find out what he's up to. Where I really want you to ferret around is Reaper's Bluffs, to the west of Driftwood.
It's wild territory, remote and hostile, where I believe the dwarves may have set up a base of operations away from prying eyes. Should you find any such place, and better yet, proof that Lohar is working in behalf of Queen Justinia, you will be handsomely rewarded, I assure you. In that case, go forth and let the hunt commence!
I'm going to send you to be cured, sorcerer.
This must be the place Lohar mentioned. It looks unassuming enough.
The dwarf is unnaturally still. You might mistake her for a corpse, were it not for a slight twitch of her eyelids. She calmly opens her left eye, then her right.
What do you want?
The dwarf unfolds her arms and shoots to her feet.
All right, human. Right, glad Lohar ain't left us here to wither. Those brutes are taking their sweet time down there. I gotta send word soon. Get to it then. But tell the lunkheads that Glenn sent you before they bash your brains in.
Maybe if we had a crowbar.
What's this? I found something.
You got rocks knocking around that noggin of yours. The Morlock has to do them.
There we go. The door's opening.
By your own hand.
By Duna's dagger. You here to free us or kill us?
The male dwarf expels 2 lungfuls of air and glances happily at his companion.
We've only been fretting here for a few hours, but it's felt like days. That snot-nosed priest's as slippery as a snake in an oil drum.
Ain't found nothing that lets on what Mortis is up to. Only thing we managed were to close that door and get us stuck. And if there's another door out there, never could find it.
Lohar ain't gonna be pleased.
Ain't no telling where that priest has gone to. Started acting all funny not so long ago, then flew the coop. Well, at first, he was just buddying around with Lohar and the rest, you know. But then he'd start looking all sickly and run off for a day or two. Then some stranger tried taking old Lohar down, but got himself caught and tied up. Ain't no coincidence Mordus went hanging around then.
She taps a finger against her forehead.
A woman knows things. Nothing's getting past me. Best we head off then. We've got business to attend to.
I'm ready! Lohar will want to know of this. I've spotted something. A skull. It's missing an eye. As far as locks go, this one's pretty macabre. Be wary. That hound has a nose for sauce.
Don't be... Halt! The hound smells sauce on you. Plenty of it, by the sound of him. Haven't got a collar for you. Damn it. I'm sorry, but I can't let you leave. Hounds, at the ready. Attack!
Won't let you down.
Fane, good to see you again. Of course. Told you I would, didn't I? Sure thing. I'll start hunting that down right away. Don't wait up.
Final capital. Good luck to you.
Keeping it together, Bree. I'm all right, as long as I don't think about it too much. You're safe among friends. Never forget it. Smells worse over here than a dozen rotten eggs dropped in a vat of vinegar.
Then don't come over. Not like you're buying anything.
If I don't come visit your tons, who will?
Wouldn't you like to know?
Divine order to march against the
Keeping it together, Bree. I'm all right, as long as I don't think about it too much. You're safe among friends. Never forget it.
Have you anything that will protect against cold wipe?
I can swim beside fire, cold and poison. But void walking? God knows.
Bishop Alexander was slain by Satan. Culprit still at large.
Keeping it together, Bree. I'm all right, as long as I don't think about it too much. You're safe among friends. Never forget it.
Your fish stinks of the void.
Buying or selling? Capital. Good luck to you.
The kind that don't fancy starving, along with the rest of this town. It's all well and good for you with your rations. We've got to take what we can get.
Keep talking, dwarf, and you'll end up eating sawdust from a cell floor.
He looks up from his map.
I noted.
He looks up from his map.
Yield to none.
He looks up from his...
I notice that I've yet to receive your war owl.
How you holding up?
I'll stop your play acting, you smelly sorcerer.
A fisherman stares at the water, muttering to himself.
The missus will kill me. She'll tear me a new mouth halfway down my neck.
You see nothing.
I've gone and thrown my wedding ring in the water. I could do that. I could. But seeing as the ring has a bit of sauce to it, like as not, going in there will attract Voidwoken. All things equal, between an angry wife and Voidwoken, I'm leaning towards the wife. I'm not asking you to risk your life on account of me and my marital woes, but if you fancy a paddle, you can go right ahead.
I've spotted something.
More Voidwoken! Seems our company is much desired.
A horrified fisherman stares at the water, muttering to himself.
That was terrifying. I need to get myself a new line of work. Something as far away from the water as I can go. Goat herd, high on a mountain. Spice trader in the desert. Anything but this. If the missus will go for it, of course. She likes the beach. You found it! How wonderful! The wife will be thrilled. Or she would if she ever found out about this, which of course she won't. But I can't thank you enough.
He slips the ring onto his finger, where it dangles loose.
I feel better already. Need to fatten myself up again so I don't lose it a second time. Can't be relying on the kindness of strangers to dig me out. The very best to you. I wish you well.
With a new confidence in his stance, he turns back to his fishing.
Huh. Another Magister caravan.
Slithering little worms.
The power recoils from your attack. It clearly didn't expect resistance. But it has too much control over too many minds. Try as you might, you can't break its influence.
Come no further.
There, on the cliff.
Stupid and persistent.
yield to none. Into the dark. I'll yield to none. Strange. I swear their eyes were pure black.
There was something in the ground. Back in the cave, they...
The dwarf bangs his palm against his head.
Damn it! I can't think. I can't remember.
No, this ain't right. I was on duty in the cave. I was on patrol and I was alive. This ain't right. None of this is right.
Sorcerers. They brought in sorcerers? I can't remember. I can't remember why. I can't remember who.
The dwarf rocks back and forth, staring at nothing.
That can't have been real. Those monsters bursting out from the ground, it was just a dream. It had to be a dream.
Careful now.
The spirit traces runes in the air. You recognize the gesture. It's the same one you perform when gifting others with your blessing. Your blessing leaves you as a stream and returns to you as a river. You see through the woman's eyes. You feel the discomfort of a source collar as you tug at it. Then, a clatter and a shriek. A winged Voidwoken has grasped you in its talons. It takes you to the air as you flail impotently. The Voidwoken continues its journey for hours, perhaps days. You watch as familiar land and sea pass under you until the creature slows. The talons open, first air and wind, then a thud. Blackness. Light. You peer through the fog to see two dwarves, eyes as black as coals. They are dragging you through grass and stone. Perfect bait. The master will be pleased, drones one of them. The blessing fades. The spirit's hands are stilled. She looks to the sky, searching, then lowers her head and flashes the tiniest of smiles.
As the old human saying goes, I have a bad feeling about this. Whatever happened here? It was a massacre. Better tread softly. Somebody's in that.
But...
Hush! Be quiet, gods damn you! Keep on walking, bud. You got moss for ears. Scram!
The face of a dwarf appears from the shadows. You notice a couple of fresh scratches on his cheek, partially hidden by a thick beard.
You got a problem with simple instructions, friend? Leave. Now! Don't know about no questions asked, but there'll be no answers given. Now leave!
The dwarf freezes, his face a mask.
And? Are they dead?
The dwarf's face falls. He looks utterly devastated.
God's truth. I were looking for mushrooms when I heard the shouts. Ran out as fast as I could, but I took a tumble. The crew was fighting amongst themselves, tearing each other apart. They had these pitch-black eyes and fought like demons. Hell, maybe they were demons. I only managed to drag Valine in here before the bloody Voidwoken turned up to finish the job. I've never seen such slaughter. Best we could do was save ourselves and try to report back to Driftwood. Lohar's got to know about this. I figured we'd hold tight for now, just till we're sure the way's clear. Then we'll make a run for Driftwood. No point taking a risk and ending up split open on the grass. Now, I'll beg your pardon and get back to settling things in here. Don't need to paint a target on our little den by gabbing with you all day.
I swear, I should have expected nothing less. They wander across a tragedy, and how do they spend their time? Gawking at the dead like they're nothing more than a sack of cloth and flesh to be looted. Bloody parasite. Wait, can you see me? Elves, teeth. How'd you manage that?
The dwarf's eyes narrow, and he squares his shoulders. His hand seems to instinctively drop to his waist.
These skills of yours, they let you control minds. Force brothers to draw steel against each other.
The dwarf nods grimly. After a long moment, he swallows and starts to speak.
We were doing some work round these parts. Smuggling, stealing, removing the odd witness. You know, bread and butter stuff. We were sitting here, eating, drinking, telling tales. When some of the lads, their eyes turned black as pitch. Next thing I know, my best mate's buried his dagger in my gut, and there's void woken everywhere you look. Them that didn't die were carried off to the cave. Might be I was the lucky one, lying there, bleeding out. Heh, was the day I'd have to cut you just for asking. Don't suppose it makes much of a difference now. The cave was our base, where we wrecked, smuggled, and stored the loot. The entrance is through the ruins over yonder. For all the good it'll do you. Might be swarming with void woken by now. Huh, kind words. But there ain't none that'll undo what we saw. Most we can hope for now is some peace in the Hall of Echoes.
Creeping little flies.
The power recoils from your attack. It cleared the eyes of the dwarves, once a solid black, clear for a moment.
They have returned. Or are these different? They all look the same to me.
The
Creeping little flies. Go back! Get out of my realm!
They have returned.
Crawling into
Or are
our
these
business.
different? They all look the same to me.
Reaper for me.
What? What's happening to the shrine? Here lies Patrick, prophet. He perished in this place, predicting the downfall of Brachus Rex.
As the torches around you flicker and crack to life, you hear a low groan. It starts soft, then crescendos until your chest rattles and your head buzzes.
Brachus Rex! God damn you to this hell in which I suffer! God damn these burning flames! My blood boils in on death, and you ask if it hurts. The indignity fans the flames. Just when the agony subsides, more come to the shrine and put flame to the torches. They think to honor me. Instead, they incinerate me. You light the torches without knowing my sacrifice? You've summoned the great prophet Patrick! I knew Brachus and knew his secrets. I saw his rise and fall as woven into the tapestry of time! He branded my truth as blasphemy, and I burn for it! I live that horror. The truth invites danger. Some would sooner be swallowed by the void than tell it. Wait. You. I see it. You, too, follow a path consumed. You must take my gift from among the flames. With it, you will know truth. With it, you can... Brachus!
The rumble reaches a deafening forte, then dissipates. The voice is gone. Only the whisper of the wind fills your ears. The enormous stone slab is covered with cryptic engravings, obscured in places by smears of dried blood. Your memory jars at the recollection. The details elude you, but broad strokes surface. Something about the afterlife and a very large bird. You cannot recall anything more. Half the runes are words. The rest are corresponding musical notes. The inscription is an ancient dwarven dirge. The melody is similar to a popular dwarven drinking song, though the modern version is markedly less macabre. The central rune is stained black with 1,000 years' worth of blood. A relatively fresh coating flakes off in the wind.
Hey, look! A lamp! What's this? I found something. Careful now. That's a trap.
The spirit looks out to sea, then to the fire roaring behind him, and whistles.
Ooh-wee! Pretty cunning of them, don't you think? Light the fire and draw 'em in. And an effective one, too. Lohar's dwarves light it, ship's captains follow it, and sploosh, the cargo spilled all over the rocks, ripe for picking. Saw a big un go down just the other day. Dare say those wreckers are drowning in contraband. No wonder Top Brass figured something was up. Those Arks fellows Raymond reports to. He's the one sent me here. I'm one of them, all right. Well, I was. But yeah, dwarf magisters are as rare as a three-eyed imp, but when you're hard up, well, sometimes you've got to make choices. Turns out the folks round Reaper's Cove don't take too kindly to magisters sneaking about, especially not the dwarven kind. One of them was here tending to the fire, got me before I got him. Never got to the fire. Now I'm stuck, and ships still crash. At least it's a pretty view. Oh, that's mighty kind of you. Can't very well do it myself. Well, you probably guessed that. I'm thankful, friend. Blessings on your kin, and your kin's kin.
The void. It's here. Calling to me. I don't know what that statue's doing, but it doesn't look good.
From death comes earth. The gift of the void.
body is fresh. Were they a sorcerer?
The spirit of the dwarven battle mage gazes upon the mutilated body that once housed her. As you approach, she turns confused eyes on you. She stares uncomprehendingly at your outstretched hand, slowly raising a bewildered gaze to meet your eyes. She stares, and you feel yourself drawn into the mesmerizing source pools of her eyes. With a jolt, her life flashes before your eyes. You become her in her prime, battling a felled magister in a deserted clearing. Electricity crackles from your fingers as you advance upon the magister. The magister is part of something dark, something cruel, something that goes against the very fabric of your being. All bets are off. Merciless, you attack her with spell and blade. As her warm blood spurts to cover your face, you are sated. A satiety you would never speak of, a satiety that momentarily fills the emptiness within you. Wait, who are you? You are thrust out of the spirit's memories and back into your own sovereign mind. You see the spirit of the dwarven battle mage before you, eyes downcast now. The spirit tugs and tugs at the source collar around his neck, though it budges not an inch.
We couldn't. I couldn't. Is it really our fault? The Void Woken.
He gives you a look full of hope, then remembers the collar round his neck and slumps forward, letting his hands hang heavy by his sides.